Oh, no way. That's how it does it. Oh, Suki, Suki. I should have waited. Oh, Suki. Okay. Somebody's still acting like a noob. Can I be heard loud and clear? That's the main question. That's all I want to know. Is there a lag? Is there a delay? Can I be heard? Let me check on over here if I'm coming in loud and clear. Uno momento. This might be a very chilled, laid back live. Okay, the color is coming through cool. The color is good. Just want to check the quality. Visual looks cool. You got to be on your A game, know what I mean? So that's how it shows up. It shows the trailer first and then bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, 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 boom, bing, 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 boom. Don't even ask what I'm doing right now, peeps. Don't ask what I'm doing right now. Just roll with me. Roll with me. I've adjusted these headphones, but they feel a little tight. They feel a little tight. Don't like that. A little tight. A little tight on the scalp. All right. I think everything is looking good. Everything's looking okay, man. Everything's looking okay, man. Okay. You understand? It's looking good, man. Don't play with me, man. Okay. All right. I'm not in the mood for the nonsense, man. Okay. You talk to me any kind of way, I take you down, man. I deal with you, man. All right. I'm not playing, man. It's not a game, man. Okay. I shut you down, man. All right. I finish you out, man. Oh, I did. I'm going to spend the whole 10 minutes just making noise in this live for a while. I was going to record the video, but I thought let me just do it live instead. It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. And I'm still here talking about the alien thing. I still got more videos to make on it. Um, now that the show is done, I saw that I don't know. I think HBO or MGM dropped a new trailer. Let me check out this thing because I'm getting an echo. MGM dropped a trailer for the next. I think it's HBO. Who's doing Let me see. Welcome to Dairy. Let me hit mute real quick so I don't mess around with y'all ears when I tippy tappy on the keyboards. Now, man. So apparently, Welcome to Dairy. It is going to be on HBO Max. So I don't. That's the next thing I'm looking forward to. So FX, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever what you want to call them, mess me up with, what do you call it? The Marvel Zombies What If series, and then mess me up with the Alien Earth series. So I'm not even. I don't even think I have any excitement left for anything TV wise. Movies. Not even. I don't know if I want to see Avatar. I mean, I probably will see it, but I'm not looking forward to see it, nor am I going to rush to see it. I can't remember what other movies are coming out this year, but it just feels like it's the end of the year, and all I'm relying on now is like rewatches of old school movies, which I have no complaint of at all. I know the Running Man is coming out, the reboot, or another version of it, but I prefer the OG version with Arnold. I've seen the trailer for the new Running Man. I think I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll do a watch review reaction for the original Running Man first. I've seen people talk about this new one coming out, saying it's more loyal to the book. I don't know what that means. It's more of an original thing towards the books than. And I'm like, okay, I could have sworn, but I guess because I haven't read the book, so I don't know, which is the right one or the wrong one. But a lot of people are saying the new one coming out is more authentic, more close to the source material, which is cool, I guess. But I'm not I don't really care for that, to be honest. It's not my forte. I don't. Again, no desire to see it. I have no desire to see it whatsoever. So, it, thanks to this stupid Alien Earth series, I'm now extra cagey about other TV shows coming out. I'm currently watching the Institute, and that's pretty good. That's on MGM. The HBO Max at MGM. I think Institute is on MGM. Yeah, I think so. And that's been renewed for season 2. And that one, they announced that early. The same month the Institute came out is the same month they announced season 2. So that's a good sign. Whereas not even the same. Whereas Alien Earth we haven't heard any official announcement. There's chatter, there's talk saying they have a desire to do a season 2. Of course, anyone who starts a show, well, not everyone, but most people have a desire to do multiple seasons. But I don't want to sound cruel or mean by saying hopefully they don't get another season, because that means the people who worked in the first season have to go and find a new project, to work on to get their bills paid and to put food on the table. I mean, it's sad, yes, because they're not going to be, if they don't get a season 2, they're not going to carry on that project anymore in terms of the money and the jobs. I'm talking about the regular folk who work on the project. But I'm also thinking about some of us, or most of us, who didn't like the show, who found the show insulting to just regular basic intelligence. We're not talking about over megazoid, mega, I don't know, superhuman IQ. We're just talking about regular. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. I wouldn't do that. That doesn't make sense. What's the point of this? Just a regular, just everything. I'm definitely still taking my time. I don't want to rush the specific video I want to talk on in regards to the severe ADHD that boy genius, what's his name again? I've forgotten his name already. Boy Cavalier has. When they mention that in the show, your severe ADHD, I was like, okay, why is that here? Just like it's just throwing in random things into the pot. Why are we talking about severe ADHD? And the show didn't even give us enough gory things to sink our teeth in terms of the aliens. You got the xenomorph, about I think 3 to 4 eggs roughly. Then you have the ticks. Then you have the fly bugs. Then you have the plant creature, and then you have the. Is there a fifth one? That's it, right? No, the eyeball, Teocellus. So I mean, Teocellus, they already set that up to be a smart, thinking, well observing, intelligent species. So, okay, cool. But what I'm saying is, we didn't get enough scenes of these alien creatures just decimating human beings, outsmarting human beings. We didn't even get to see what the what the tadpoles grew out to become, how fast they grow, how quick they grow. What then, I mean, when the dude on the spaceship drank Chibuzo's water, I wish there was a time discussion to say these things take, I don't know, 20 minutes to grow to thumb size, another 20 again to grow to, I don't know, finger length size, just to show how dangerous these creatures are. I wanted more of those things, because they introduced 5 alien creatures and we only got to see 1 or 2 takedowns here and there. I mean, just episode 5 alone, that alone could have been its own separate movie. I'm not knocking that. I'm praising the episode, but I wanted more of that. So minus the incompetent crew members, or maybe some incompetent crew members for sure, but not just all crew members are incompetent. The voyage itself, I'm not buying it. Like the thing, this the things this guy introduced into the show, Noah Hawley, is just too much. The hybrids was already a pointless idea, and if I want to keep it in house and not necessarily I almost said blame, not necessarily call out the writer, the story itself is just it's too noisy. The hybrids don't make sense in real world application because to me, you've kidnapped children and you found sick children. You haven't found because there's a sense of someone's desperate. Parents are desperate. You picture the child. There's a hopelessness. Some children too would have accepted that they're going to leave this world, and it's cool. They'll miss their family, yes, but there's a sense of hopelessness where Boy Cavalier has gone through particular steps to find these sick children. There's no backstory to say these sick children are connected to people that parents he didn't like, but he wanted to help, or parents he liked who helped him. There's no interconnection, no grand scheme of things. It's just someone just said, I want to find sick children for this particular idea that I have. And then fast forward all the way to the season finale, you then let the viewers know, oh, by the way, he has severe ADHD. And how severe, I almost want to say, how severe is it? You're trying to convince people of a future where human beings are okay with taking a long space journey to go and acquire space aliens for their boss, no questions asked, and you're not worried about the toll that would take on your human body. What if you go there? The money is good. You go there and you encounter a species you can't deal with your current tool set. What do you then do with that? So Noah is asking the viewers to suspend their level of belief for a while, for 8 full episodes, and in each episode, just be involved. Okay, cool. When you've written characters to be so annoying, it feels to me like what James Gunn, for me personally, did with Superman 2025. You just wrote things because it's cool to you, but you haven't allowed us to sit down and then immerse ourselves into the story. And then when we start to do so, we realize and say, hold on a minute, I want to do what she did. I wouldn't do what he did. Let me just be honest. I don't know why people. I don't know why we all say that as if we're lying. Like I've been lying all this time. It's like, okay, now it's time for me to tell the truth. When the scene came up with Chibuzo eating in the lab where she was observing the creatures, I don't know. I don't, well, unless I've forgotten this part. In school, I don't remember being taught not to have food around your science lab. I don't remember that. So the more I kept on seeing people comment saying that's the dumbest thing they've ever seen, you're not supposed to have food in case it gets contaminated, yes. But the idea of you're not supposed to have food in your laboratory, in your space of experiments, it didn't even occur to me as in this is a common sense thing not to do. Or yeah, it didn't ring nothing. So when when people came out on the internet just insulting that scene, saying it didn't make sense, I was like, you know what? There's certain things I don't even know about science itself that I didn't even know you're not supposed to have food around your experimental room and whatnot. So those things, the fact that it's a regular thing everyone seems to know, I'm not asking myself, okay, so why did Noah Hawley choose to write it like that? It's one thing to say Noah was aware and deliberately wrote this character or these characters like that. Cool. But you want to have a good mixture of characters on your space expedition where some are not that smart, but some are not overly smart, but intelligent enough. So that way, certain things the viewers don't understand, those characters become the exposition dumpy. So when the person or the particular character asks a question, the smarter ones or the more intelligent ones can then give us exposition. So we, the viewers, are getting fed via that particular character that asked the not so intelligent question, and that's fine because we're learning through him or her. Now, some of us, the viewers, already know certain things before that person asked the question. But for those of us who don't know, we're living through, living vicariously through that particular character. So I'm okay with certain characters not being overly intelligent, because at least by them asking questions, they're learning through that process. But when everyone's just acting nonchalant and nini all over the place, and whatever, you're not supposed to lay with each other, no sexual copulation, nothing. Someone was smashing. Then the fact that they had a saboteur on board and they didn't know, there was no psychological checks. I guess that's a natural thing that would occur if you're doing something that people are uncomfortable with. Maybe someone eventually will snap. But we didn't even know if they had a particular psychologist or therapist on board, or two therapists, in case one is, it took its toll on one person. You have a second one as backup. So all these things. And then the space journey. I spoke to a few friends of mine who hadn't necessarily seen the show, but knew of it. And I asked them what would um what would draw them on this kind of space expedition for a number of years, away from Earth, to obtain these things and then back. I got these particular questions asked over and over again. Why? How much? And how long is the journey? And then what specimens are we getting? And then what are we getting the alien specimens for? And then how dangerous are these alien specimens? So you could argue that everyone except Morrow, or maybe even Morrow, maybe they all had some financial problems. So, their arms got twisted, or the the uh, the possibility of getting rich enough to take care of any financial problems you have, was it was too much of a good opportunity to pass off or pass on. So therefore they took the gig. I still don't know how you can convince me to be away from Earth for a number of years and then tell me that we're going to be going to a particular planet or multiple planets to retrieve alien specimens, and we don't have synths on board. So that was my first strike already, especially after, not even after the show. I think when we got to episode 5, I was like, no, 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 because the show doesn't fail to remind us that these 5 people ruling the planet are rich. So if you're rich and you want these alien specimens so much, you wouldn't hesitate to design the appropriate, not only ship, but design the appropriate synths, or no, not android synths, or whatever you want to call them, to go on your space journey. So that was already a mark off the story where I was like, yeah, I can't buy this too much. If you have 10 crew members and maybe 4 were not that sharp, and then the 6 were sharp, and one of the 6 is an android, then cool. But when you're trying to tell this particular story in such a way where you want us to buy it, but the idea doesn't is not it's and then we don't know how money is for everyone else per se. We don't know if everyone's living well. We didn't get to see enough of the environment they were in. We didn't get to see enough of Waylon's side of things. Like, what is she good for? Like, is health very good there? Or if they have any disease, it's cured. The severe ADHD, in the future, you're telling me ADHD or ADHD is now is still a major problem, that there's a severe version of it. It just shows that, again, you're telling me a broken future, flying spaceships, and you can go to planets now and terraform other planets, and then people have people, uh certain parts of humanity now has colonies on Mars and Kutera and Clitera. It's too grand. It's too grand because your foundation feels stupid. Doesn't feel real, doesn't feel lived in. I didn't get to see the human beings on the ground floor. I didn't get to see people struggling financially. We don't know if homelessness is still a problem. We don't know if health is a problem in terms of cancer, AIDS, HIV, or what else. Is homelessness a problem anymore? So without knowing what's going on in that regards, then what's how am I supposed to hold on a minute? What the hell am I doing over here? How did I get over there so quickly? Pardon me. So then what's the point of your story? What's the point of Why should I buy your story? Why should I watch your show? Why should I be involved? And you've taken the freaking Alien franchise name. And before this, it was Alien Romulus. And before Alien Romulus, a lot of people had already given up on the franchise after Alien Covenant. Prometheus was like, okay, I see what you did. I see what you did. Hopefully, you don't screw it up. I don't know about the whole who made the xenomorph and then who made the people who made the xenomorph. You're just going back and back and back. Sometimes it's okay to just have a show or a story where this thing exists. We don't know who or what made it, but this thing is dangerous and it's coming for us. That's like saying, I wonder who made the predator species. I wonder who made the species, who made the predator species. I wonder who made the species, who made the species, who made the predator. And we're just going back and back and back. No, 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 no. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is a story. This is the monster. This is the creature. Just go from there. I don't need to know who. You need to know how to stop it and how to deal with it. Almost like the Tomorrow War movie with Chris Pratt. Half of that movie was cool. Half of that movie was poor. But as much as people are asking, wonder where the alien came from, even Cloverfield, no one's going to tell us it came from a very specific planet. That's what happened for me as well when I was watching the A Quiet Place movie. The original one, my brother and I were like, the first one was cool, but if you really sit down and break down the thing, those creatures just feel like bullies to me. Any little noise, they just freak out. So I was like, okay, that means when the plane is flying in the air, they freak out too. Just wailing it, just trying to jump and trying to stop the plane. It's a good thing they can't jump so high into the sky and just, start killing birds. So I was even thinking to myself, I wonder how they deal with unless the sound that they make doesn't reverberate into their head. They only receive sound from outside. It really it sours the experience, man. It really sours the whole thing. You don't want your audience to think too much. You want to keep the story very, very basic. That's why I still like the Tomorrow War. We don't know where those alien creatures came from, but they crash landed on our planet. Same thing with The Thing. Is it John Carpenter's The Thing? Is that John Carpenter or Stephen King? I think it's John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, that one too. Perfect. Perfectly done. Perfectly done. We don't know where it came from, but it's been here for a very long time. Oh, don't let it touch you, or don't let it break out the ice, and then boom. The original was cool, but I like the remake a lot more than the original. I don't know why. Maybe it's the quality, but then again, I've seen They Live, and I still like that one. If they were to do a remake of that one, not sure I'd like it. Same thing with Total Recall. They did a remake for Total Recall, and that was bad compared to the original. Compared to the original, that was trash. So I can't sit down and say I love Alien Earth. It wasn't done well compared to all the other alien movies I've seen, monster movies I've seen, even Predator. Forget Predator. Even just The Thing alone. The Thing alien creature is dangerous. That thing touches you once. Imagine that thing taking over Earth. It won't be hard. It won't be hard unless there's intel on the ground being sent to like the Air Force or whatever, and then you have to make sure whatever you drop eradicates that creature. And then how do you even what do you do to go down and ensure that it's dead? If you can touch a fish, a rat, a snake, a bird, if that thing attaches itself to a bird, if that thing attaches itself to a bird or a flock of birds, oh my goodness. Can it survive in water? For how well, it was in the it was in the ice for a while, but can it breathe underwater? Can it adapt to the environment based on whatever creature it's touched? So imagine the thing inside a lion. Imagine the thing inside a snake, an anaconda. Dude, now that's a good story right there. So that's why that story works well. You want to make sure you contain this thing. I still think you can make it. You can do another version of it where it's close to, you know, main population of people. I think that'll be fun. Might change the premise of it a little, but I think it'll be fun. Same thing with Cloverfield. Cloverfield was awesome. We didn't need to know where that alien came from. It's here. We need to find a way to stop this thing. War of the Worlds, same thing. What else again with Keanu Reeves? That little Titan robot with the Cyclops visor. The day the Earth stood still. That was cool. They didn't. He didn't come from his planet and tell us his planet is called Tempa Tumpa. I'm here from planet Tempa Tumpa, and I want to save your planet as well. We need to stop your planet from killing other No, 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 no. So I'm not down for season two for Alien Earth. I'm done with it. I don't care. I don't care at all. I thought it was going to be good. The hybrid didn't make sense. The space expedition didn't make sense. It took far too long. Took far too long. I don't know how much you're paying these people, but it took far too long. Far too long. Yo. And then no one's asking questions. Then you get the alien species on board. Then my brain is like, okay, how the hell did you get them on board without? Oh, so you had to stun them. So that means you have to put a good enough a voltage on the stun baton to make sure it doesn't, overdo. Maybe you must have killed. Imagine, I think I'd have liked to see that, to be honest. An episode where they were attaining these specimen, and Noah Hawley chose to negate that. Or maybe the excuse he was going to give, or he had given, is, "Oh, we're going to do that in season two." Another flashback of how the crew members acquired each of these alien species. Nah, this whole season should have been about that. Then the question would then be, okay, how desperate do you have to be as a person, knowing you're going to collect these alien specimen for this particular company or this particular empire? They've paid you money, yes, but how desperate do you have to be like, you know what? I don't care. As long as they're not using it to kill the population, they're probably using it for science. But if you look at the things, you just one creature alone, if you look at it yourself, how desperate do you have to be? That would have been something to touch on. Like, have a conversation among the crew members. What these creatures were kidnapping. Dude, if one gets loose, one alone gets loose, we are going to be struggling. To be stuck here, we'd have no help. Even if we do a beacon thing, we'd have to ensure we quarantine these creatures, because if we call out for help, and by the time they get here, we're cooked, and these aliens, one of the specimens still alive, game over. And if that specimen happens to knock a machine off its axis or something, or hits a button by mistake, and then another one gets out, we're finished. But Noah Hawley, maybe he recorded it, and then the higher above are like, no, that episode doesn't fit in, cut it and save it for season two. I don't know, but I would have liked to see the crew members have a conversation about, we want to make sure we keep this thing here, or why are we even getting it? Just have a back and forth where there's there's no agreement between a particular number of them. It's like, yo, we're getting paid. I don't care what they do with the specimen, as long as they're getting paid, and that works fine. That works absolutely fine. Is my thing working? Something is off. Let me just see real quick if this is going to show up. Let me see. Was goody? And then the severe ADHD part, I'm not thinking to myself. So all the time he had the idea of hijacking the the spaceship, in terms of getting that guy. Well, that guy called him, so we don't know. It's not been fully explained yet that the person who sabotaged the spaceship for Wayland, I mean, for the person who sabotaged Wayland's spaceship for Boy Genius, we don't know if he was working undercover all this time. We don't know if he was hired by Boy Genius all this time and happened to infiltrate Wayland's thing as a spy. We don't know. All we know is that he's upset that his wife died trying to obtain the alien specimens. So that's what I would have liked to see, how many lives they lost. But even after all the lives they lost, some of them just operated nonchalantly. There was no doubling or tripling of security. There was no doubling or tripling of their activities, their actions. Like, yo, we need to keep these things contained, or we need to start changing. We need to make sure we have, these alien specimens we're kidnapping. There has to be something. There has to be a special brig or special space or deck or level on the spaceship where the doors are thicker than all the other doors in the spaceship, where the glass is thicker, where the air is tighter, just in case something goes wrong, or there's a system basically in place in case anything goes wrong. You just turn on the furnace or shut it down, just to make sure, because at least that shows me, not that it shows me care, but it shows me that the people involved are thinking. And I don't want to blame the Wayland person, just like, oh, that's how bad Wayland is. um she doesn't care about the crew. That's why she hasn't put money into building a better spaceship. No, that's still weak writing from the writer. You can get away with that by making sure you but at least you can, I don't know, you can still have the alien creatures break out in some way, shape, or form, especially the bug one. Like, if you don't know what the bug creature does, that could have been a good, easy reason as to why uh, the containment didn't work after a while. Because especially once you tase the bugs, the ones that eat inorganic material, you put them in a room, they're tased, and then maybe you take a piece of their skin or the wing or something, or you draw blood. I don't know. You're studying the biology under a telescope, or is it microscope? And then maybe one of them has their back turned or something. Then the bug wakes up, and they're studying it. Oh, it's the bug is in the case. Everyone is cool. TOSLS is being studied. The ticks are being studied. The plant bug, that one is beyond me how they I think they stunned it. I think that's the only thing I can just use to make sense of all this stuff. Everything on the spaceship, every alien specimen was stunned. The Teocellus was stunned. I don't even know how they captured the Teocellus as well. It must have jumped and then they just stunned it when they saw it. Okay, cool. So let's just assume all the alien specimens on the spaceship were all stunned with varying levels of electrical voltage, so as not to harm the product. And maybe I'll allow room for multiple flies, because I'm trying to figure out how many of each specimen, how many species, how many types of each specimen they kidnap. This is what I was asking, if they went to a specific planet to kidnap each of them, or they just kidnapped them as they saw them. So that means there was no specific mandate to say bring back the eyeball creature. Whatever you see, bring back. Whatever you see, kidnap and bring back. Okay, then cool. But then the next question I'm going to ask is, okay, how come there wasn't like 4 or 2 to 4 of each? Like the ticks, well, we saw 2 ticks. How come there weren't more ticks? Because if there were more, how do you even? Well, I guess because you don't want to get bitten or attacked by these creatures, whatever they are. You don't know if they're good, bad, or kind, or if their bite makes you happy, or feel euphoric. You don't know, so you want to take your best care as possible. At least show that. Then show that you had the suits on and you were making sure you're being careful when you walked into a space with these creatures. How many Teocellus eyeballs were in that one location? Because it's a very happy, good coincidence that you only happen to find one Teocellus eyeball. Because if there was multiple, they would have been done. They would have been done, and that would have been epic to see. Imagine just standing, and then whilst you're trying to capture the ticks or the bugs that eat inorganic material, Teocellus eyeball just latches onto you, takes out your eyeball. Second one gets freaked out, takes out the second dude. So it just so happens that there happened to be one Teocellus, or maybe the Teocellus crept on board and they didn't know. No, I think they would, if it crept on board, they would have known, or not even they didn't know. It'd have definitely taken over one person for sure. So it's things like this that just make me feel the show is pointless, and I don't want to watch a season 2. And again, like I said, the live earlier on, I don't want to. I'm feeling bad by saying I don't want a season 2, because the people who worked on season 2, um, this headphone is getting a little tighter, boy. Damn, ooh, sir, getting a little tighter. Maybe I'll take a break. So the people who worked on makeup, costume, um, uh, I don't know what else, writing, everything else, everyone. Ooh, yeah, that was tight as hell. Yeah, it's never this tight. What the hell? It ain't never this tight, dude. God damn. I damn near hear my heartbeat. It's never been this tight. Anyway, so those people, everyone who's worked on this show, minus the guys or the actors actresses who got paid heavy. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the regular folk. This is their 9 to 5, and they're happy about it. I'm not saying I hope they don't get a season 2, and like, yeah, I don't give a f about them not getting the gig. No, I'm actually thinking about that as well. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I'm aware of them, but I'm also aware of my psyche. And yes, season 2 comes out, I don't have to watch it. All these shows we talk about that we don't like, we don't have to watch it. But best believe if I don't know how to put it. It's not like I'm incapable of doing so. For example, my brother till this day still teases me about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones came out, loved it. He got me on board with it. By the way, I didn't even think I was going to watch it. I just thought this is another show I don't really want to watch. I think he watched I don't know how many episodes. He's like, dude, please start watching this show. So I jumped on board. I liked it. I really, really liked it. But after a while, there was things that were getting boring to me. This whole, talk about this chair because of my neurodivergent mind. I just thought to myself, how long can I keep up with this show about people crying about a chair? There's a rightful owner, there's a rightful heir, there's a rightful lineage, and there's shared ownership, there's shared lineage, and then the people who just want the chair. Or it's not about the chair, it's the control and the power. I said, this feels like politics, but in a well edited environment with flying dragons and whatnot. I'm like, it's not for me. This is why I don't watch shows like this. Whereas we're talking about fantasy, a fantasy world with different kind of creatures, elves, and all these other things. I watched Lord of the Rings, and not once did I feel put off. And I was watching the scene when they were talking about the who's going to take the ring back to Mordor. Would it be the dwarves, the elves, the land of man? Not once was I bored. I was involved because I was thinking to myself, then this ring must be so powerful that everyone's struggling to figure out who. Then Frodo's like, I'll do it, and you saw the look on damn it, you're a fan, Gandalf's face. Gandalf's face, you saw that whole despair, like, oh, I wish he didn't say that, but it has to be him. And we then got to see what the ring did to Gollum. We got to see what the ring did to Isildur. Not once did I get bored, like, oh, this is too much politics. Just sat in this round table and bitching about the ring. Not once. Not once. So there's a way you do your writing to get your viewers involved. I just started to say, I can just see where this is going. Either you get to your point and put the rightful person on the throne, and don't make another, like basically, I need to see what the end game looks like, and set my mind to be like, okay, this is going to be a Debbie Downer ending or season finale. Cool. As in, it's written. You'd have to do some drastic shit to make me watch season 2. I didn't even see your message. It was good, Dominic James. Thank you for joining. How's the streaming been going on? How long? I can't even tell. There's a timer somewhere. 37 minutes. 38 minutes now. And I was already beginning to get hungry. I was like, you know what? Let me wrap it up real quick and then dip. Yeah, I've been streaming for like 37 minutes now. Okay, 38 roughly. I don't even know what drastic. I'm going to watch it. I guess I'll watch it, and I'll watch it to see if they've changed a few things, if they've addressed the issues that everyone is expressing, and if they don't, then it's pointless. I'm not in the mood for people telling me just turn your brain off, or you're not a fan if you're thinking too much. You don't take it so seriously. It's a TV show. Nah, 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 nah. I turned off when the Red Wedding came on in Game of Thrones. After Red Wedding, I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. This show is not for me because there's strategic takedowns, there's strategic takeovers, there's strategic assassinations and whatnot. And yes, the show is trying to show you how serious these people were, that they wiped out a lot of people during the Red Wedding. That's how how mean and whatever. When they say they'll do a thing, they'll do it. Cool, but in terms of the psyche, to just watch that and allow myself to say, nah, I just said no, too much. Because if you can do this to these people, to a pregnant person, if you can do this, if the Red Wedding is written and allowed to be a particular way, not only in the books but visually, if a people can do this in this world where people want to sit on that chair, I'm not in the mood. I'm not here for that. I don't care about anyone else's stories. Unless the person's story I care about is the person who's going to take on those people with an army, those people who are willing to kill anyhow to preserve their stance. And nah. That's why I love the idea of the White Walkers. The White Walkers made me feel okay. Now we're talking because this politics about this chair thing and other things. It just sounds like it's gibberish to me. This thing is real. These creatures are real. There's no belief. I don't believe. It's not my religion. No, 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 no. They're real. I don't pray. They're real. If I tell you this thing that's it's pale white and it's cold as snow, and you're like, I don't believe you. When it comes, yeah, by that time it's too late for you to then tell someone, I'm sorry, I didn't believe in you, and they take your head off. It's real. Now, what you define as real in your time period or your environment is neither here nor there. The chair nonsense, it bores me. Either you get to it, put the rightful person in that seat, and then let everyone respect who's in the seat. Even if you have a little grudge, I wish it was me. It should be my mother. It should be my family. Should my blood should be my bloodline. Or maybe here's an idea. How about you guys do shared rulership every year, every season, or maybe every 5 years you switch over, or every 5 months, or 6 months even. Your turn, your turn. Well, that doesn't work. It's like the more you present new ideas or new solutions, the more they shut it down. And the more I'm like, yeah, I'm not involved. I'm not involved. And if the story of the allegories, or this is what happens to human beings or mankind, if you let things get this far, so much so they'll kill over this throne and kill. I'm not mankind. If that's your concept or idea of mankind, it doesn't involve me because I come from a different group of people who, yes, they've had their ups and downs, but based on the history and our lineage, we've had more ups than downs, and that's good enough for me. I don't want someone to try and convince me, oh well, your ancestors, yeah. You can call all the bad shit they did, but if we look at their lineage across the planet, dude, I can observe from the downs and learn from them. But when I compare their existence, their longevity, from the basis of most basic of all life or foundations to the highest pinnacle compared to yours and other people's on the planet, and there's a lot more genocide and deaths and control and domination and colonization. Nah. I'm sorry, bro. If my ancestors' past flaws and weaknesses is less than all of your different groups of peoples on the planet, you can point fingers and say your ancestors did this. Yo, acknowledge it for sure. We will acknowledge it. But bro, the longevity of balance, harmony, positivity, good life, sweet life far outweighs the disorder they cause. And most importantly, they learned from their mistakes. They learn from their disorders. They learn not to repeat it, and they put it up front and person and close. It's not like they hit it so they looked good in public. No, they always, went back to it. We're done well so far, and not in the ego state, but to say, okay, cool. And it took time to learn and maintain, and so we do not become these people again. What have we implemented in the last 50 years, 5 years, 10 years to keep growing, to keep improving, to keep bettering? So when you present solutions to a number of people for this Game of Thrones nonsense or this throne, and people shut down those solutions, then I'm like, okay, cool. They're locked in a particular mindset. So I would feel the real world solution outside of the solutions people like me would have brought to them instead of killing people for this thing. Find a way to work with each other. And then the ones that be like, no, how dare you? This is the way of life. This is the way of mankind. The White Walkers appear. White Walkers is like your end game. How long do you want to keep this? It's like a metaphor for, all right, cool, we're here. Your belief or no belief, your religion or no religion, we're here. They're a force to be reckoned with. They're like a freaking tornado and a supernova at once and a black hole all at once. In a world where where you see dragons flying all over the place, I don't have time for politics. I mean, yes, it rules certain things and whatnot, but you're playing baby games. Even you can sit down and as a full grown being, you can observe children and see how children play. Now, if a child acts a particular way because he or she is taking on the traits of their parents, then that's going to bleed into their mannerisms. But a child who's come from bad, putrid, weak, disgusting parents and vile parents, but that child acts completely different from the parents, a full elder will be able to sit back and go, okay, that child is from the mother and father and we know that bloodline and all that lineage, but this child is acting very, very different compared to the darkness in the parents. That means in their lineage, They weren't all douchebags. So that means this child possesses a particular spirit that's come back from that lineage to make sure it either saves that lineage or creates a new lineage where it doesn't copy and paste that same nonsense from its predecessors. That means that child's descendant, if it pairs itself with another person with similar traits or stronger traits, that means the children who come from that child are going to be very, very different. They won't repeat his or her father's or parents' disorder or grandparents' disorder. So that's how my mind operates. So when those kind of stories come across, I'm like, your overall story. I don't mind a good drama here and there. I don't mind a good cliffhanger. I don't mind a good shock twist and we thought we are going to get this, but we got this. But overall, I'm always thinking of the overall message because when you watch these things, it's going somewhere. I can't put my hand in my head now and say, let me just undo the alien Earth experience. Let me find it. Hold on, there's a button here. If I hold it here and hold onto my earlobe and then put my thumb on my left nostril and then do my jaw like this, and then if I just go 3 times, then I can, you know, remove this memory card that comes out of my right nostril and then plug into my computer and then delete the feeling I had from watching Alien Earth, or delete the idea or the memory of watching Alien Earth, and then take out the memory card and do all the whole steps again, put it back in my brain. No, these things go into the psyche. I don't have a tool or remote control where I can just hold it and just hit a button and go, okay, psyche, and psyche goes yes. The scan the last weeks of where I watched Alien Earth. Scanning. Now find every episode of Alien Earth and delete. Are you sure? Yes, psyche. I am sure. Okay, deleting has begun. In 3, 2, 1, the show Alien Earth has been deleted. Then I'm like, what did you say? What's been deleted? Never mind. Psyche over and out. No, these things go into our subconscious. So if your overall message is just meh, then I'm like, I'm not here for your shit. I'm going to bitch about it. I'm going to bitch about it. Case in point, when Man of Steel Superman came out, people said it was too dark. His costume is too dark. It's too emo. And the tone of the movie is too gray. And there's no bright colors. And no one's saving cats and dogs and weebies and squirrels and doo-doo-doo and doo-doo-doo. All right, cool. James Gunn said, I bet I got you. Did the thing, came out, and everyone's happy. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. Because some of these movies affect people's psyche. So people say, "Oh, I like it, even though this was that and that was this." I like it was bright. I like that he saved the squirrel. I like that he saved the dog. I like that he had a dog. I like that it was bright and the songs they were playing were happy go lucky. That's how some people's psyches are. I don't necessarily like it. I don't. I do not like that movie at all. Outside of the bright colors, which don't bother me, the story is incompetent. But that's how some people roll. So I'm like that as well. If you give me this world and boom, okay, cool. What is your message? And not every show or movie has to have a message. Maybe it's just one of those things. Hey, I'm here to entertain you. Well, guess what? I've not been entertained because your story is nonce. Your characters are acting incompetent, highly incompetent. Pardon me. And you want me to be on board with your story? Not only your characters acting incompetent, there are people who are acting very, very unnatural. Are they zombies? Are they alien bonded species? You're trying to withhold information, hoping we'll be so intrigued and look forward to season 2. A lot of us are like, no, we don't want any more seasons. Please stop recording. Stop your story. We don't care. We don't care. A lot of people are like, we don't care. I'm one of them. So aside from the people who are going to be working on the project who, won't have this job to come back to, but they'll have other projects, hopefully, aside from that, I don't give a shit about Noah Hawley. His style of writing is whack. He did the is it Legacy? The X-Men show, Legacy or something, Heritage, whatever it's called, the one with the psychic son of Xavier. And I was ready to jump on that. I thought, yo, they're about to do a mature take or extra mature take of some of the X-Men characters. Legion, that's it. And when I heard some of the things they were discussing, that's why I don't like to jump on shows so quickly. The trailer can look cool and intriguing. I'm like, no, don't worry. I'll wait. Let people watch it first. Let me hear what people are saying. Some people are like, oh, I like the take, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm hearing big boy words for how critics talk. No. I'm talking about regular folk. What do you feel about this show? If you have to say, certain things are good, but then nah, nah. It's okay. I know that kind of speak. You're trying to, you're telling your brain to ignore certain things you've seen. No, I'm not here for that. We're talking about the truth. Show is good. It's emotional. It's tough. It's real. I like the use of special effects. I like the way he expresses his powers. But it resonates with me because I felt what he was feeling when I was 5, when I was 15. Even though I'm not a mutant or a superpowered being or telekinetic, I can move objects in my mind. Not yet. Even though I'm not in that reality, the character is relatable. So not only did they give us a superhuman character or an X-Men character or mutant, they made the character relatable. And if I'm a woman, can I still relate to the character as well? If I'm brown and not Caucasian, can I relate to the character? Yes. Then it's a win-win. That's how you do beautiful storytelling. When you do it so far-fetched. So this dude killed his dad and then built a synth. What? How am I supposed? Oh man. The two things don't correlate, and you want to try and convince me it's because of his trauma that he went through from his father, and then having to get the synth to kill his father. That's so. When was the ADHD active? It's so severe that his parents weren't smart enough to help him with not even medication. You're telling me you couldn't even find a way to help your child reach his full potential and not absorb. I almost want to say absorb the ADHD as if it's a bad thing. It's the word I'm looking for. Come to terms with it, but live with it and master it. His parents weren't financially rich enough to help him master. He spoke about the dad, but not the mom. So the mom is alive, we don't know. So Noah Hawley tried to keep a lot of things vague, and I'm going to withhold this information so that way they can lust after for season 2. No, anybody lusting for season 2? I won't spit on that shit. That sounded very sounded weird. Spit on that shit, put it, light it on fire, and throw the ashes over somebody's shoulder. What? Maybe over Noah Hawley's shoulder. Talking about, oh, I'm going to withhold information and wait for season 2. You're just gonna drop that he killed one parent. But I wonder what happened to the second one. Ooh, stick around for season 2. You see what happens to it. What happened to his mom? She might be alive. She might be dead. Or maybe he turned his mom into an android. Boring. Because your premise already had multiple issues. Dying children's psyche or consciousness copied over into a synth body or a hybrid body that has super strength is a massive flaw. I don't want to over talk on that one because I want to make sure I do a separate video for that one. I think I want to do separate videos for the hybrids, the ADHD thing, or severe ADHD thing. That one I might not do too long on it because I'm neurodivergent. What these you guys call ADHD, and that's why I want to do a separate video because it's seen as a disorder in the West, and that to me shows lack of intelligence. If you're about life and existence, studying life, existence, and humanity, out of many other things, would be of high priority. You'd understand how the brain works. You'd understand how the mind works, and it's constantly changing and evolving. You wouldn't have this one thing, one size fits all, and say Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. Those are two Caucasians. Even they themselves had different. They differed in opinions and ideology. But I'm not saying there aren't other non-Caucasian psychologists and psychotherapists out there that have studied mankind. But that would be one of the many areas of expertise and many areas of importance that you'd find a lot of people going into. Because to live and to function well as best as we can, one psychology and psyche has to be on point. And if you're tampering with people's psyche with food and things in the atmosphere, water, the things we're watching, and then I keep hearing this term of the father of psychology, Carl Jung, the father. I can't wait to do a video for this. The layers of insult, the father. If I say the son of God, already in your psyche, you know who I'm talking about. Even I could argue that I'm a son of God. And because I'm talking about myself, I meant the. I'm talking about myself in third person. I'm one of the sons of God. So now you're saying multiple. But when you say the father of psychology, the father, if I say the mother of the Son of God, again, you know who I'm talking about. Even though you could say metaphorically, the other women that Christ came in contact with and felt like mothers to him. But when I say the mother, you know who. I don't need to even give you the name. The image already comes into your mind based on this low level functioning language that was forced upon a lot of people. Then you then tell people the father of psychology. How dare you? It's an insult. Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung, the father? Motherfucker, please. Bitch, fuck out of here with that shit. All those gimmicky things annoy me because sometimes those people's works are used in movies, TV shows, cartoons. When I studied in university, I didn't even know who these two dudes were until I had a particular class session and I was taught about colors in lipstick for women, why it's red outside of many other colors, blush, or is it blusher on their cheeks, why it's red outside of many colors, or orangey or whatever. So all these things I had no idea of. Maybe once or twice I would have wondered and that was it. But we had a particular session, I want to call it, or particular phase or whatever you want to call it. It was a program to get into the psyche of people to learn how to sell better or how to design. If you were to work in marketing, get colors right, observe logos, and if you observe very popular brands and see the shapes they've used, the color they've used, the font, the text, serif, sans serif, all these things. So that's how I got to learn about Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. And I always mistake them, who is who. We got one magazine, and there were particular ads in the magazine that we were all supposed to examine before we were told what's going on. What do you see here? Just what comes to your eye first? A car, a guy wearing a sweater, and there's a woman next to the guy with a car. Okay, what feeling does seeing this emote? So now, even now that I'm a lot more mature, spiritually grown, and wiser, and this is not me bragging or whatever. I'm talking with the now me and the head on my shoulder now compared to the then me. what I'm even currently getting from that memory is, sorry, you're not even taking into consideration the background, the person or persons who are looking at this magazine cover have come from. And the people on this magazine cover are Caucasians. They weren't Chinese, they weren't Spanish, they weren't Mexican, they weren't Latino, they weren't Puerto Ricans, they weren't Dominicans, they weren't Haitians, they weren't Nigerians, they weren't from the Niger area, they weren't Zimbabweans, they weren't African. Well, I could go on for ages. I could. The person teaching us this thing was also Caucasian, female though. So I like how she presented this thing in this program. It was beautiful. Like I said, there are other things I'd seen before, movies, here and there, like little flashes. I'm like, But when she mentioned this thing that day, the way my third eye just expanded, I was like, holy, you mean y'all motherfuckers been doing this all this time? So then it's like I went back in time in slow-mo while still in the class. Like, oh, no wonder all these things we see in the movies, in the trailers, in the TV ads all this time. So from what I remember, trying to do my best to bring it back to my mind, it was a two-page spread. One side of the magazine cover had just I wish I could. No, I can't even. I could find it one day and do a talk about it. I could. I'd have to ask my friends who went to the same uni with me and see if they remember the exact or something similar to the exact imagery used. There's a swirl at the end of the page. And on one side is a guy who's got a sweater, white sweater, like is it polo sweater? It's a particular material in the brand. He's got the sweater over his shoulder. He's got a champagne bottle, and it's popped, and champagne is flowing out. The car is red. The lady next to him she's smoking. I think she's smoking. I think they're both smoking as well. She's next to him. She got bright red rich red lipstick on. And the lady who's teaching us also doesn't have lipstick. So I'm like, okay, it's one of those, I don't need to slap on makeup to look, I'm fine how I am. She's asking everyone, male and female, how does this make you feel? And I mentioned earlier on about the pigment of skin for a reason, because this is not brag or rude. I don't care whether or not you've read a book on psychology. All of us have a base level of psychology, but not all of us have the same level of. Not all of us. Not all, no way, no way, no way, no way. You can even observe in nature how certain people treat the environment they live in compared to other people. How certain people treat the resources they have compared to other people. How certain people build with their environment compared to other people. If you're sharp, you're sharp. If you're not sharp, then it is what it is. So I was already self-aware a little bit about who was. I'm seeing brown people, male and female, Caucasian people, male and female. And certain people were getting it, certain people weren't getting it. So she had to break it down and say, if you look at the color of the car, it's red. It matches the lipstick on her lips, matches her red shoes. And people were like, oh shit. Some people saw those things, but they didn't draw the connection. Then if you see the champagne, everyone's like, yes, champagne bottle, they're celebrating. Okay, yeah, yeah, of course, celebrating. But you're being sold the lifestyle. You're being sold the sweater, or, or wrapped over or just draped over the guy's shoulder. It's a particular brand. So there's a lot of things here, and this is what it's called advertising. But you're going to the lower nature of man, sex. Hence, sex sells. Cigarette is the phallus. I was like, wait, what? Cigarette is? She's like, yeah. The color of the cigarette is also important. I was like, nah, 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 nah. Now you are stretching. But I'm like, okay, well, she's a teacher. She's taught this for many times. Hell was that? Somebody falling over outside. Damn. All right. She's taught this subject for many times. She's been successful at it. So why would she lie? What's the gain here? She wasn't done. That was one magazine. She left that open and said, okay, put that to the side, get another image. And because she had given us that for lack of a better term, key to seeing things, even the shape, she would say, pay attention to circles, triangles, squares. And then the if I say rectangle, she would keep it. I don't know if she mentioned this, or I took time to go and find other research as well. Phallus of a cigarette. A cigarette is phallus one. Um, the wheels on the car 0, so binary 0 1. The entry point of a woman, symbolic with 0, womb for JJ. The phallus of a male, or the phallus, yeah, straight long 1. I was like, oh, dude, my mind that day. I generally asked her during, not even after class, what has prompted you to teach us this? Because one, you're not teaching us how to advertise. You're teaching us. You were saying, I don't know. This is what you're going to get into. You can go down this lane, or you can be aware and be different with it. So I said, why? What do you gain um from revealing this to us? She said, you have the power. I mean, I already knew this per se in terms of creativity. The person who not only thinks of a pencil or thinks of creating a microphone for the first time, but can sketch it, can draw it, and then knows the exact tools to an extent to put together to say, this is how I want to create this microphone. The concept of a pencil, pen, a table, all these things that we're all using right now, tech-wise, the most rawest form, not profit and cheap materials, but to gain more. No, just to say it's come here. It doesn't mean we have to output it all the time. But the original divine state of being to say, we need this. We create it. And you create it to the best of your ability. Not, let's do 2 versions, a cheap version, a very expensive version. No, we need it. Here it is. And you chill. Not constantly on new. It had blue last time. Now it's got red, and then now it's purple and blue, and now it's purple and red and red. And just, we need it. It is here. And you do so based on the environment you're in, and you observe, should we add? You can even delegate. Should we have to make this? No, dip out. So I'm saying all this to say that what's in here is very important. And I take this very seriously, especially after I learned that thing in my uni that day. I had a very, very annoying experience in university, but ever since that class, I looked forward to having a session. Ever since that class, I'm like, yo, when they bring this lady back, you better give us a heads up so we get ready. The champagne bottle was the phallus of the liquid, the elixir we all have as men within our testicles. You know, it's symbolic for busting a nut. I don't know why symbolic for busting a nut. Every time I saw a scene of somebody shaking a champagne, she said, You can say it's celebration. Woo, we made it. I got the job. We got the house. Oh, we're celebrating our new baby." She said that's the whole point. That's the segue. The main purpose is that she hit us with the cigar. The cigar. The ritual it takes to clip off one thing, circumcision. She said, I'm not making this is her words. I'm not adding a little spice. This is her words. The color of the cigar. Yo, I said, God dang, I've been playing too much. And she took it back. She took it back. She took it back to when lynching. And she said, heads up for those of us who are sensitive about our African and African American and melanated lineage, rightfully so. Not like, oh, heads up, pussies. No, she's like, yo, it's about to get a little dark, so brace yourself. If you don't want to hear it, ears on, hands on ears, or you dip out, or whichever one. And they was like, oh, we ready, ready. We grown. We tough. Yeah, brothers were lynched or elders were lynched, especially men took off the palace. I was like, I said, listen, man, it's going to be very, very hard for us to swallow what you're saying. A lot of us, it's just going to be like that for some people. Like, it's a stretch. She's like, yeah, you can call it what you want to call it, but this is part of the base code of what's there. Everything is sell, 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 sell. I said, so how come many people aren't aware of this? He said it's called subliminal. Whoo! I had never thought to myself that this shit was that deep. So the songs you listen to, the movies you watch, the interactions you have with people, the thoughts you think sometimes are not your thoughts. Dude, nah, nah, nah. So I've come a long way from all that stuff. I don't see things the same anymore. If I see a particular color for a logo, I'm like, you're trying to think here. If I see a particular color for a thing, I'm like, after that session in uni, nah, we're good. We're good. I've seen, so with Alien Earth and all these shows you watch, that's how I'm always saying, what's your main message? Because everyone knows movies have advertising, product placement. That was the crux, the whole thing, the central core of the whole thing. Outside of the psychology behind advertising and good advertising and bad advertising or forced advertising, the best one is the one where you'd have to force it is subtle. You're the one who goes to do the work, and you're the one who says, okay, I'm going to hone in on the clothing, because then it's affordability. Then you're already showing the people who were excited, and there was no variation of that particular advert in the magazine to say, oh, on this other page is a bunch of Chinese people having the same experience. But what does luxury look like for Chinese people compared to the West? What does luxury look like for Japanese people compared to Chinese people and the West? What does luxury look like for Africans compared to all the other counterparts? But yet we're being sold this one lifestyle that may not be the same for everyone. Maybe some people are okay with donkeys. Some people are okay with bicycles, motorcycles. I think it was a Cadillac-ish kind of car as well. Some people don't want to always wear a particular color. Some people don't like red lipstick. Some people don't like lipstick on their lips. Some women don't like lipstick. Some people don't like to wear makeup. But this thing is constantly pushed over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's almost like it erodes at the wall some people might have up unconsciously, until eventually people give in subconsciously, subliminally. They don't know they've given in, and like, that sweater looks cool. No one's saying don't wear a sweater, don't buy this and don't buy that. What the idea was is to be mindful of your own pardon me, impact on the world, and to have a say in how you communicate with people, through your creativity, through your designs. And I appreciated that message she gave us. I've never liked following people for the sake of following people because they're experts in. So, but you say they're experts when they talk, they sound like ninnies. You're like, it's a douchebag thing to say. What are you expert in? What annoyance, control? Again, all these things are linking to the whole grand scheme of things in terms of the Alien Earth series. It's this whole thing of 5 people control the planet. We weren't shown what the planet looks like fully regularly. Let's get regular people's life, for example. What are the clothes they're wearing? Do they still have red, purples, bright colors, primary colors? It's all gray and dark. Are people playing basketball? Where are the children? They're schools. Are they in the hospitals? What's popping? What does life look like in Prodigy? What does life look like in Wayland's county or borough? Is she married? Is she lesbian? Is she straight? Is she bi? Nothing. Noah Hawley just gambled and thought we would look forward to the next season. No, you didn't flesh out nothing for us enough. You put too many things, so much so we didn't even get to see these aliens tearing these people's asses up. If you had sent multiple expeditions, we'd have got to see more alien stuff. More, so much so I don't even care about the xenomorphs. We'd have got to see more takedowns, more gruesome attacks and whatnot, more intelligence attacks from the ticks, from the flies, from the Teocellus, from the plant bug. No, so I don't give a crap about season 2. If they announce it, I would be very pissed. Watch the thing. I'm gonna watch the thing, but I'm still gonna bitch about it. Best believe. Just like the Acolyte series on Disney Plus. I'm not even surprised. It's 2 shows on Disney Plus: Marvel Zombies, Alien Earth, and then Acolyte. That was, oh my god, my goodness, the Acolyte was bad, 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 bad. Like how bad? Woo, woo, bad. I'm talking like I don't even know what to say. Bad, 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 boys. Bad, atrocious, atrocious, atrocious. Completely and absolutely atrocious. I wonder if people get paid to write stupidity. Like they're convinced write a stupid story will pay you better than would pay you normally if you wrote a good story. There has to be some weird cult and conspiracy just going on where it's just dumb shows after dumb shows after dumb shows. I still got Wednesday to watch. I want to check that out. Season 1 was okay. I didn't mind season 1, but I hope season 2 is good because I saw a few episodes out of sync. I was like, okay, seems cool enough. Dialogue is okay. Dialogue is very important to me as well. So Alien Earth with the whole humanity is the monster, not the aliens. No, no. And it's a shame that they gave one of the 2 douchebag villains of the show severe ADHD. In a future where you can travel to space and back and kidnap aliens, we still haven't found a way to learn about ADHD and accept it in the Western society. It's still behind other societies in the world. This is the future Noah Hawley wants to pitch to you. Stupid. Shut up. Shut up. Before all the iPhones and whatnot, ADHD or neurodivergentness already existed in different forms, different spectrums, different variable frequencies in all different cultures. I remember seeing the video recently that UK I can't remember how many years ago used to tie left-handed boys' hands behind their back in their boarding schools to force them to write with their right hand. Fuck me. When I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, that's we don't. You tout progression, you tout growth, you compare yourselves to other people. If it's not in your base, your seed, your ground foundation of your culture to observe and understand what it is to be. I say again, to observe and understand what it is to be. There's layers to being. There's the seen and unseen. The unseen will be the spiritual, the psyche, the subconscious, the subliminal things. When you're creating things to go into the mind and you don't know what it is to be, how can you be trusted? So when you write your stories, one has to sit and observe and say, okay, what is your story? Outside of I'm just writing for entertainment, what else? What else? Hence, what I said earlier on, I'm tying all these things back together. That's why I stopped watching Game of Thrones after the Red Wedding. I said, nah, this thing went somewhere, and I didn't like that. Didn't like that. Maybe it triggered some ancient ancestral pain and memory for me, but I thought, nope. I thought this thing was going to push past this, power and fight for the throne and get to the White Walkers, get to the dragons, get to the supernatural things quickly. But these guys liked what the ratings were doing, so all right, keep up with the drama, keep up with the politics. So when Red Wedding hit, I said, all right, that's my cosmic sign to I'm gonna sign out this mother effer right now. Deuces. We outie. And I left. I ignored every other season that came after, so I didn't mind watching spoilers. Oh, they killed this character. They killed Joffrey and Joffrey and Joffrey. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. People are like, oh my god, what did you think about the episode? I'm like, watching Game of Thrones? And I'm like, yeah, hey, whoa. Oh, I didn't say I'm eating babies and children. I said I don't watch the show. But everyone, yeah, just because everyone's watching this, I'm going to watch. I used to watch and I stopped. Oh, why did you stop? The Red Wedding. Come on, that was one of the best. Yeah, for you. Learn to also, be in the space of other people who have different passions and not to mock them, but just to see them light up about the thing that they like. But when someone doesn't like what you like, doesn't mean you got to attack them and ask them like something's wrong with their psyche. If you didn't watch the Game of Thrones, you stopped watching the show and picked it back up at the last season. That's weird. That's never been done before. Yeah, buddy, sure. I left it alone because my psyche felt like it was under attack, and either one could argue that's a very weak psyche. No, I wouldn't call my psyche weak. I love how my brain operates. A lot of things I'm very into and interested in. I'm like, I don't need to welcome a bad seed in here. It's got to be sweetness. It's got to be joy. It's got to be laughter. And it's not always giddy, but I'm very aware of what I let in here. If it's too dark, if it's out of, it's like, okay, I see the story you're telling has to be in this particular world. Cool. I'm with you for the ride. Where we going? We doing horseback? Are we doing Pegasus? We doing a donkey ride? We doing the space balls thing? What are we doing? Back to the Future car? What's it called? I can't remember the DeLorean. What are we doing? Oh, we're doing what's Han Solo's spaceship called again? She came and left. Damn. Oh, what she said. Millennium Falcon. Are we doing Millennium Falcon? What we're doing? Warp Speed? Are we doing Star Trek? So what is it that we're doing with your story? If we're going to good places, let's go. Like Weapons as well. When I watched that movie, I was like, yo, even when I saw the trailer, I was like, it's too dark. Too dark. But when I saw the movie, I liked it. Some dark themes there, yeah, but I still liked it. Really, really liked that movie. So, in general, whether or not majority of all the movies you watch is just for entertainment purposes only, things are occurring. You're being bombarded with information and energy, whether you like it or not. It's going somewhere. Right now, you can't put your hand into your psyche and say, I didn't like what that person said to me. Let me take nope. Hence, people go to therapy. When I was a child, this person said this thing and did this thing, and I realized I've been repeating and playing this thing over. Yeah. So, or some men have issues with dating because they're constantly looking for their mother in the women that they're dating or they're seeking to be in long-term relationships with. Vice versa, women are realizing, oh, because I didn't have my father in my house, I'm constantly looking for my father in the men I'm dating. So, dude, it makes sense that when you're telling stories, you want to be very, very precise as well. Don't think too hard about this stuff. You just go in there, enjoy it, have fun. It's going to have sadness, happiness. So that means you're going for a particular ride. You're going to be going through varying levels of emotional expression. But at the end of the day, it's just supposed to be a good time show. I'll say less. But if you're using the Alien franchise, then those movies don't necessarily end on a cliffhanger like, oh, it's a sad Debbie Downer ending. Ripley still won in the second one. Ripley won in the first movie. The third one, however, Alien versus Predator. The good guys always win. So you're telling the story, and sometimes you could say, hey, sometimes the bad guys win. Yeah, cool. But your ratio will vary. How many times have you told stories that bad guys win versus good guys win? Now, subconsciously, you could say, it depends on how you write your characters, your good and bad guys. How well do you write them so much so that some people can see themselves in the bad guy? And some not so kind people can see themselves in the good guy. So now you've done a different way of telling the story where you've allowed a person who's been called bad for, you know, half of their life, from the teenage years, boy or girl, to their adult years. You've given them some level of hope. Michael Jackson, I watched an interview recently where he said he wants to be able to, reach out to everyone else in the world and help, heal, transform, make people feel good. It wasn't just one thing; it was layers. So this is someone who is concerned. You could argue that, oh, that's what an artist would say who wants to make money. Yeah, for sure. But the proof is in the pudding. When you play certain songs of MJ, people don't even speak English; just feel the energy. So as a collective, we've always been doing that since day one. Once you go through ups and downs and really powerful experiences, it's immortalized in stories. And these stories are told to teach, to help, to transform, to heal, to guide, to improve, to help better. It means it's a it's not just a compound boom, done, crush you, compress you. No. It's also broken down. Campfire stories sometimes, especially when the weight of the story is really powerful and heavy, and you need the information to sink in to the young ones, to the teens, and to the adults. The elder or elders responsible for said story or stories will tell it in bits, no rush. So that way you have time to let it marinate. You go to bed. You might come in contact with the person or persons involved in said story because they're already on the other side. So then when they wake up the next morning, oh, I dreamt of Utul Akan after last night's story. So those kind of people, they don't play with stories. They don't tell false stories. They don't just make up stories for the sake of it. There's a purpose behind the storytelling. And all these things that we partake in, cartoons, movies, anime, TV shows, are all different forms of storytelling. The still images of a magazine cover or magazine photo shoot, the way someone's skin looks a particular way, the words people are using, anti-aging, and this and that, they're all stories. They're good stories, they're bad stories, and they're misleading stories. They're also inspiring stories, heartwarming stories, healing stories. So what that lady was talking about when I was in uni was that you have the power to shape the psyche of people. She got us to learn about those things so we don't fall into the same trap. And she said she went through the same process as well, where she was just in the whole design world and just doing stuff because she was told and the money's there. She said she didn't like it after a while. It kept her messing around with the spirit. And she added that if you're not careful, a very innocent, divine spirit can be tainted over the years. And then people will just latch onto that person and say, oh, this person is very good at doing what they tell them to do. All right, cool. Just pump money into his or her face. And they wouldn't even think twice of, oh, is this kosher? Is this good? Is this right? Nah. Once you tell me there's a thing called subconscious, meaning I can't go to it. I can close my eyes and watching a horror movie. I can close my ears. And then my friend can tap me on my shoulder and say, yeah, the scene is done. Are you sure? Yeah. And I open my eyes. I have control over these two. But the subconscious, the subliminal, I'm not saying there isn't control, but there isn't a straightforward active control as this and this. Or if where's the remote? Hit pause. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Find my mouse. I click stop on this movie. Done. Just like I did with Game of Thrones. I had control to say, you know what? No. This show has shown me over and over again a particular pattern. And even as someone who's watching a particular thing, expecting a particular outcome, you could argue that's my psyche or my spirit saying, this show might not be for you. I'm like, word? Yeah, because I'm asking a lot of questions and I'm expecting a particular outcome. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's like a particular food or meal or fruit or vegetable. Not everything's for everyone. That's how the Most High or the Divine has made it. Balance. So after the Red Wedding, I thought no. And then when the final season for Game of Thrones came back, I said, all right, it's going to be the final season. I Googled and made sure there was no behind the scenes talk. We'll call it the final season just so people can jump on and the ratings will go up. And then people think it's the end. They were like, oh, psych, there's another one coming. So I made sure. I said, let me just wait a little bit. 3-4 episodes, just to make sure and see, is the chatter still the same? Is it official? Are they just saying this to get the viewership up and then drop another, oh, we got one more special bonus season? They're like, nah, final. I said, cool, say less. And I jumped on board. I became one of the people on the planet who watched Game of Thrones up until the Red Wedding, ignored and skipped all these seasons, and then jumped on board again when I heard they were doing the season finale. Because I knew, okay, after that's done, However way they end it, they would have to end it in a pleasing enough manner for everyone, because the chatter got to a point where I knew what it was going to get to. You better tie up this loose end, or you better make. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you wrote this thing in such a way that people had high expectations, and they were struggling to meet those high expectations. So the show had to end a particular way. As long as there was no stupidness and no nonsense, I said, well, it's going to be the final season, and the White Walkers are here. Now this is my type of storytelling. I'm here for it. Bear in mind, I spoke about Game of Thrones. I mean, sorry, not Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings earlier on. That to me, for me, beautiful, simple, effective storytelling. Every story has flaws. Every story has its chinks in its armor. But as long as you get the core message, and the core message for this alien's Earth is incompetence. How 5 incompetent people have taken over Earth and no one has come to assassinate them, I don't get it. Not and weren't shown the other 3 of the 5, because again, I imagine or I assume Noah Hawley was looking forward or anticipating FX and Disney green lighting season 2. So then we get to see the other 3. And I couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. It might be twins running, 2 other companies, and then one could be an I don't know, trans, whatever. I don't care. I genuinely, because where's all this gas coming from? I mean, it's good to get out rather than in. At some point, you need to find a way to connect, or have us connect to these people who are supposedly running this world, so we know why they feel they're in the right place to be doing what they're doing. Then you have the issue of, we want to weaponize, or people keep saying weaponize, but I remember the theme or the idea of the weaponization came from aliens, right? Or alien, I can't even, because of the timeline. 5 people running the world. Are you all happy with each other? Are you low-key trying to kill each other? So in public, you present to be happy and nice, shake hands, high five, high five, high five, hugs, buddy, hugs, hugs, hugs. But behind closed doors, you want to kill each other, and you haven't found unique ways to take out one another, and you're trying to convince us that this is the way it has to be. This is the way it should be. How are you going to convince us that this is the way it has to be, and it should be, and you haven't found unique ways to take out your competition without drawing attention to you, like, oh, that bullet came all the way from Prodigy, or that poison came all the way from Wayland. How well secure are each of the 5 that no one outside of the 5 can enter anyone's premises? A synth, android, or hybrid? Or was the idea of Boy Cavalier to infiltrate the 5 by gifting each of the 5 one of the hybrid, and then keeping Wendy for himself? And then it's like, oh, this is like a service robot. But even that idea doesn't make any sense, because you've put real children's consciousness, or you've copied real children's consciousness inside these hybrid bodies. So how would you then convince these hybrid children that we're going to gift you to each member of the 5 or 4 at this point, and when it's nighttime, kill these suckers? Then how do you then convince everyone else who's working and connected to each of the 5 or the 4 outside of Boy Cavalier that you're going to take over? What's the real world scenario looking like? What contract did they sign that if any of them were to die, whoever is left standing will inherit every member's shares or wealth? How about the children of each of the members? How about the family? How about the blood? How about maybe um um their providence, their county, their empire, their kingdom? How about saying, oh no, if anything was to happen to me, one of the 5, for example, all the rest of my wealth and shares, everything goes back into the community, into the people, and anyone who comes against that, I've already got a special squad of synths who will terminate anyone who tries to finagle. Anyone who tries to hack into my thing, they'll be tracked down quick and they'll be terminated. So, real world scenario, what does that look like? Because we keep getting this chatter that Wayland, before she died, went out on this expedition to capture these aliens to weaponize them or to draw something from them. They weren't told there was a planetary cancer occurring. That's why in one of my videos I said, if you had said the story was based on another planet that these guys were going to terraform and a particular disease or virus was attacking them, plus they needed to use one of the alien specimens on the planet, and by capturing them is where certain things happened. Now you're going against the clock or time to stop this virus, whilst also dealing with an alien outbreak on this particular planet you're about to you're in the third or final stages of terraforming. It's a simple story, but you're telling me you took 5 or 6 sick children, terminally ill children. We didn't see the selection process. You just threw a dice in the air, and yeah, those whatever, pick those 6, bring them here. You build 6 bodies, and then one of the 6 bodies that Wendy's consciousness got copied into, she can now manipulate AI. She can now apparently hear the xenomorphs, but the others couldn't. How do you explain that? Who built these bodies that the consciousness got put inside? Are you now saying because when Marcy had some latent abilities they didn't know about, that's why it transferred over into the consciousness? Bro. Mother, come on, son. Come the flip on. High level of incompetency. I can't wait till I record this video properly. High level. High level. And now one of the 5, Wayland, has broken, or Wayland and technically Wayland and boy genius, boy Cavalier have broken their collective agreement of we shouldn't allow any alien specimens into Earth. You've broken it for what? Even though it was Boy Cavalier that sabotaged the spaceship by reaching out to that guy, or should I say the other guy reached out to him? How do you even then recruit someone like that? This is why I said, if you want those alien specimens so bad and you want it discreetly, you would not have human beings who are liable to break, to turn, to cheat, to lie, to get killed. You can. I don't want to, because I don't want to go against my own message. There's humans, humanity, and then there's varying frequency or range of frequency in said human groups. If you observe what people are doing to rats and monkeys in cages, I assume you'd be clued on enough to understand that some people just don't just come out of mother's womb and pop her sperm acting the fool. So if your environment is not conducive to your growth, then that will have a massive impact on your psyche. Boy Cavalier had a very, very bad father based on how he told the story, so much so he had to have his father terminated. That was not a positive, conducive environment for what and who he is, or who he was. So yeah, who he is. So he came out with this ADHD thing. ADHD thing sometimes doesn't necessarily show up on his own. It's probably come from lineage. So we don't know whether the mother passed it on to him or the father passed it on to him. So if we argue that the father was frustrated as well, trying to raise a boy genius child, but didn't know how to love him, and then lashed out. Maybe the mother cheated on him. We don't know. All these things should have been fleshed out if you had more episodes in your show, and the idea was much more. It was done well in an intelligent manner. The stories you tell are important because these stories affect people's psyche. I've said this many times on this channel, and I'll say it again. Despite the things that have been said about Bill Cosby, I'm not trying to be political. A person with other people came up with a concept and an idea in an environment that originally did not show divine, unconditional love to people of my pigmentation, darker or fairer. So Bill Cosby and other people came together, just like other writers of Bill Cosby's pigment, came up with different shows, different stories in these shows, and chose to talk on different subjects and topics. And these shows as well showed a household of a mother and father, of an African and African American family, brown family, melanated family, showing all those who had no father in the house, or no mother in the house, or no parents in the house, and they were orphans. These shows, these episodes, these series transformed people's psyche who had no hope, who were down in their luck, who hated themselves, who hated the country they were in, who hated their parents, hated their siblings. You can think of all the dark, dark things you can and conjure up in your mind just by watching one or two shows or two episodes of the Bill Cosby Show. Transformed people's psyche. So much so the trajectory or predicted trajectory of a person or a number of people shifted drastically because of the power of the story involved in these shows. Just like is it Different Stroke or Different World and the Bill Cosby Show? Power of storytelling is important. It's not new. It's not new. You can create a nursery rhyme or a little song to teach children when you're going out to play, to avoid a particular part of the bush, avoid a particular part of the forest or the jungle, because certain creatures that exist there, we don't know how they operate. You don't tamper with those areas. We haven't learned how to quarantine or whatever, for example. Or you teach people how to teach children in songs and storytelling how to forage, what herbs to look for, what foods to look for, what fruits to look for, what birds to watch out for, what sounds to listen out for. Story is not just story, product placement, Sony camera, and iPhone, and Samsung, and touch this, and touch pad, and touch that, and TikTok, and tactic, and taka, 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 taka. No, stories are older than what we're experiencing. So when you insult the psyche that is older than what we're experiencing with stupid storytelling, you get people like myself coming on camera and spewing straight acid on incompetency. Then we try to do some script doctor on the story as well. It could have been such a much better story. It could have been they could have done a lot. They could have done a lot. The episode 5 alone could have been absolute fire. Absolute fire. You could have turned that whole episode 5 into the whole show. I wanted to see at least what happened to Boy Cavalier. Where is his mom? And how bad was the ADHD? You can't convince me that your parents are so smart, they had so much money, they didn't spend time, or there wasn't technology in the environment to advance to better you in the future you don't understand ADHD yet, you call it severe. In the future you can build androids, you can build synths, you can build hybrids, but you don't know how to understand ADHD. Go fuck yourself, man. I don't know what happened to Noah Hawley. Was he hurt by an ADHD person, or does he have ADHD and he sees it as a weakness? How can you be born with a thing in your genetics and you see it as a bad thing? That shows a collective lack of understanding. Whereas there are other cultures who see it as a part of being. It is natural. And those other cultures will be called primitive and backwards. You don't know how to build a spaceship, yet they've lived better than you. They live longer. They eat well. There's no KFC in their culture, no McDonald's, no Burger King, no pizza. They eat well. How can you call yourself advanced and you still have problems with high frequency of neurodivergentness? No. The two are clashing. You can't say you've advanced in technology, you've advanced in space travel, you've advanced in science, and yet in said science there's no room for understanding the human psyche, or because you want to have 5 people controlling people, yet in one of the 5 people, one of them has a problem with severe ADHD. Dude, somebody didn't go to writing school properly, or they did go to writing school and they were taught tripe. They were taught tripe in writing school, and it's what they give us. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Missed out these comments again. There was no part of Alien Earth where I could say, "Wow, that was awesome." You know what? Let me screenshot these comments so I can use them in my next video. It's a great point. Wow. I think the only thing I would have said "wow" for or "ooh" was when they showed the aliens, when they showed the Teocellus, when they showed what a tick can do, and even the end. Yes, I said I want to do a separate video. When the black lady got eaten by the plant alien, she looked up at the thing and it looked straight forward. I'm like, where's your gun? Where's your gun? You can't shoot? Where's your gun? You're a soldier. How long? What were you? Did you just finish training 2 minutes ago? Where's your gun? You're in a room where not even on the island. You know what these people are working on. Obscure aliens, obscure creatures. You enter a room where I assume you know these alien. In fact, she knows the alien creatures were kept there. Anything that does whoop on your body, I'm gonna shift first and then aim my gun like a lunatic. I don't need to go. What's that? Sticky. Smells funny. Tastes like candy. Tastes like candy. Wait a minute. Let me just observe above my head to see what's there. Oh, look, it's an alien plant. In shock horror. I don't call out to my teammates. I don't say help. I don't aim my gun. I'm so stunned that it tastes like candy. Then the plant eats you. What the? Some people call this epic writing. And it's a very good story. So I watched a few reviews. This is great. It's a great series. Great. What? Shit. Some people say the Shawshank Redemption movie is great. Some people say uh Gone with the Wind is great. Some people say not Dirty Dozen. This army movie is great. Some people say Forrest Gump is great. Some people say Harry Potter is great. Some people say Lord of the Rings is great. How can you call this great? There's Gone with the Wind great, and then you in the same vein of that word, you call this show great. Next to Gone with the Wind, that means if you want to say you want to put there's a shelf here, and this shelf we put great things we've watched, shows and movies. You want to put this show on the same level as Gone with the Wind. I've already taken a picture, switch screen of this because I'm going to read some of these comments. I'm going to make some videos based on this comment. Fun never stops. Keith Flemings. Oh, he just came and dipped out. Cool. The show was the show was so forgettable that I forgot all about the ADHD thing and the synth killing the parents. There you go. But that stuck out to me because I'm neurodivergent. And the attention deficit disorder, I'm like, nah. For you people, you call it disorder. I'm like, nah. I don't understand how I'm made a particular way and how I'm made is called a disorder. If I'm running around just, putting bullets in people's brains, that's a disorder. If I'm out here taking lives and souls, that's a disorder. If I'm sitting down here and pondering questions and what's the point of life and how do we live and how does this work, that's not a disorder. That's order. It's a natural order. So something within me has been made a particular way. Is it because of food? Is it because my parents ate a particular thing? Did I eat a particular thing? Or where did it come from? Then you realize, oh, by the way, way before civilization is what it is now, there were people born with differences in their genome, in their lineage. So the tribe always taught about different people, whether it be it autistic or autism or being on the spectrum. It's a particular frequency range. Some people come out this way, some people come out that way. That is proper understanding. Not the father of psychology, Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud. You can suck on some nuts. You can suck on some nuts. I think trying to base everyone's psychology on people who didn't celebrate psychology in its truest form. Or maybe you could argue that they did and were never taught that they did. So some people who wanted to make profit or control other people's minds, they realized that the best way to control people is use the subconscious. So we use subliminal messaging in music and in videos. And when you tell people this, they go, oh no, it's not real. That's a reach. Oh, that you're pushing, man. You're really pushing. That's what we call conspiracy theory. Everything is just so wrapped up in all these terminologies and names that not many people sit down to really study the whole thing properly. And you realize that when you're studying this stuff, you're reading from particular books of people who studied Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. When you're in an environment that people call the father of medicine, that lets you know what's popping. So I'm very observant of these things that I watch because I want to understand where these people's psyches are coming from. Is it their own unique take on what they've experienced, or is it something they were drawn to by observing Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud? There's so many people like to talk about Stanley Kubrick. A lot. Everyone, this is how you do filming, yet, and that's their environment. I'm not knocking no one. What I'm saying is, yeah, there's a sense of worship for these certain people. There's a sense of worship for their style of storytelling or how they deal with certain subject matter. And sometimes some stories are just on loop. It's been on loop for a long time. The hero's journey, the good versus evil story, it's on loop. And it's I guess it has to be on loop because you could argue that some people haven't even grown in certain parts of the world as a civilization, or they're aware of a better way to be, but they're satisfied with the dysfunctional way of being. They're satisfied with the disorder and disharmony they cause others. I like the pain that I cause people. It turns me on. I'm not here for that. I'm here for, we've been on this planet for a long time now, and we used to do things a particular way, and we need to start looking at ourselves as a collective, not as a main collective yet. No, I don't feel it's right to group everyone under one umbrella. This show is trying to indirectly say human beings or mankind or humanity is the bad person. Even they had Wendy saying a few lines, "I don't want to be human anymore." Yeah, that's cool for you, but don't make it look like we're all full of shit. No, 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 no. You better be very, very specific when you're trying to say humanity or mankind. Who's full of shit? Be direct. If you were given the opportunity to do better, will you do better? If you're given a space and an environment to be, no worries, no stress, would you fight against that? Would you turn around and say, that's not normal? That's not real. That's not life. Life is full of ups and downs. You're given the exact things you need, time as well. With all these tools and whatnot, you will then fix all the things, issues. If you have any childhood trauma, there's time to work on that. If you're worried about your diet, there's time to figure that out, and you'll be taught what is good for your body type, your blood type, and what's not good for you. How to improve your diet, how to improve your thinking. You'll be taught how to know you. If you were given the time and space to experience that, to become a better version of you, would you take the opportunity? People would ask, how much does it cost? Is it for free? Again, if you were given, it's presented to you. It's like time slowed down for you, so that way you didn't age. Or, well, not you didn't age. People around you didn't age. You just had all this ample time to become what you were supposed to become, or meant to become, or what you would like to become, in harmony, not only with yourself but others. Would you indulge in that opportunity? Would you relish in that opportunity? Many people would struggle to just say yes because of the way they've been programmed over the years. It's too good to be true. That's not real. That's not how life works. It's like they're constantly battling their own salvation. They present themselves to themselves as a hero, and then they turn themselves down. Anyway, that's me done for now. I can't wait to record this other video for sure. We're definitely going to be talking about the Saints. No, yeah, the Saints, the hybrids, the ADHD thing, and then the 5. So I want to make sure I focus all my energy on each topic separately. So I don't want it to bleed over, and they might bleed over when I'm talking about them. But aside from that, that's the aim. I'm not here for this boo boo baba nonsense. It's just a TV show. It's not real. That's your psyche, and that's true for you. It's very true for you. Whereas there are people who are aware that there are other things at play behind the scenes. Again, if you don't believe that, you don't accept that, again, that's cool for you. I'm not trying to piss on you. I can tell you right now that I'm a dolphin in this skin recording my video right now. Whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. I look good because I did a great job of finding this skin to put on. But inside this skin is a dolphin, a space intergalactic dolphin. Whether you believe it or not, that's your problem. One more time, I'm a dolphin inside the skin. Whether you believe it or not, that's your problem, not mine. Do whatever you will with that information. So you can sit here and say, I don't believe. Yeah, it's nothing wrong. Belief is fun. I believe all the people who are watching right now are all made of spaghetti, stones, and lobster. Every human being watching this video right now, even when I stop the live, you're all made of spaghetti, stones, and lobster. I believe that. Is it true? Is it real? Is it a fact? Like I said, you can't convince me otherwise that I'm not a dolphin inside this beautiful brown skin suit. You can't. You can't. I mean, I've revealed my secret identity to you. So you can believe it or not. It's up to you. Anyway, I've, of course, been your one and only Multipotentialite, Neurodivergent host, the Kosmic Jedi, signing out. Thank you for watching. Dolphin over and out. Space intergalactic dolphin over and out, to be precise.